Welcome to Journey with RTR, the podcast where three dynamic women from Southern California come together to share their insights, experiences, and stories to encourage and inspire you to grow, learn, and thrive. Renee, Tracy, and Raquel are here to bring you thoughtful discussions, practical tips, and a whole lot of inspiration. Before they dive in, a quick disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individuals and do not represent their respective organizations or companies. So, get ready to embark on this journey as they navigate through life's challenges and triumphs together. Let's dive in and start thriving.
Within the moment, and don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away.
Welcome to Journey with RTR. We're today on episode 4, and it's open questions today.
Hi, welcome to Journey with RTR. I'm Renee, and I'm here with Tracy and Raquel, and we are on our 4th episode. We are going to be diving into our listeners' questions, emails, comments on YouTube, anywhere from advice to our perspective, and hopefully a lot of laughter. That's what this episode's about.
Awesome. Well, I have to put a disclaimer out there because I was at a conference last week and I was talking so much that I partially lost my voice. So most of it was because I was having so much fun with the people that were there. And then it was informational. You're trying to talk to everyone, you're trying to meet everyone. And it was 3 days of constant communication with my company, who's awesome. I love everyone that works there. And then my son got to go to the conference too. So I was like seeing him and introducing him to people and just all the fun stuff that was part of a conference, which includes losing your voice.
I like your voice like that.
Do you?
I do.
Oh, your husband probably does too.
Yeah. So what I want to do before we get started on these questions is just kind of find out what was going on with you ladies last week and then give you a crazy story of what happened to me last week. So my conference started on Monday and I left out of LAX on Monday. And this is a huge no-no, which I know not to do, but I kind of felt like it wouldn't be a big deal. So I decided that I didn't have enough time to go and get my hair done. So I was going to just color my grays myself. Okay.
Boy.
Oh.
And everyone knows you do not do this.
Never.
The day before anything. Right. So I went and got this hair color. I thought, the boxes are never the exact match, but I thought, okay, this is kind of in the family of like reds and brunettes. And I put the color on. And my hair is like purple black. And it said medium brown on it.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my gosh. I was freaking out. So I run to the store.
With your hair all purple?
Well, I had to dry it first because I was like, maybe it just looks so black coming out of the shower. But I literally looked like Wednesday from, the Addams family. And I was like, a Mexican Wednesday. I was like, oh my gosh, green eye Wednesday. I dry my hair. It's so dark, does not look like me at all. And I go to Target and I buy this stuff called Oops, which is like this product that takes the color out. But it's a whole process. And I got up literally early to do it. I was like, I'll get it done before church. So it's 6 a.m. I'm in there coloring it, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I go get the Oops, and it literally takes all the color out. But now it made my hair look like brassy, like a pumpkin.
Oh, geez.
So I was like, I can't go like this either. So I go to church, I come back, and I'm like, I'm in a panic.
And of course, it's a Sunday, and there's nobody working.
Who's working?
Right.
So I call my hairstylist who's in Costa Mesa, and I tell her, I need your help. And she's like, I'm not available. There's really nothing else you can do. And she's when I tell her what I did, the text came back, girl, which I'm like, I already know. So I go to this salon near my house, and I like tell the lady, I'm literally almost in tears.
Oh.
And I'm like, I don't know how to get this out. And I didn't want to use the oops again because I'm like, I'm just going to make the same mistake over. So I'm going to leave it to the experts. So they tell me there's no one in the salon that can help me right now, but they could call someone in. And they call this guy in, and he comes in, and he's like, I got you. I can do this. And my girlfriend says, you need color correction, my hairstylist. And she's amazing. Like, she knows her stuff. So color correction is what they have to do. So I tell him, I'm telling him, you know how to do that? He's like, yeah. So he pours this stuff on my hair, and he's pouring it on as if it's like, it looks like one of those squirt bottles that like the ketchup's in at like a baseball game, and the mustard squirters. And he's squirting it all on, and my head is burning.
Oh, no.
And I mean burning. And then he says, how do you feel? I said, like, my head's on fire. And he's like, that means it's working.
Oh gosh.
Oh, it was working all right. Oh. So he washes it out, and some of the color comes out, but not all of it. And I'm just happy that some of it came out. It wasn't as dark, and I was just like, it is what it is. I just have to go with it, and it's my lesson, right? So I go to the conference, and I'm on the plane, and my head starts to itch, and I put my hand in my hair, and I have like this, like, it feels like a wad of gum, but it must be the liquid that dried that he didn't really wash out all the way.
Oh.
So I have it everywhere in patches. I have it on the side of my head, on the front of my head. And I literally am just like, I need to leave it alone. Maybe it needs to dry. It'll fall out. And I get to the conference, and I'm like, I shower, I get ready. I don't wash my hair because I'm like, I don't want to dry it out more. But I'm scratching my head, and it's like scabs in there.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, I was like, are you kidding me?
Did it burn your scalp?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, completely burnt my scalp.
Oh my gosh.
Which I was like, never again, Raquel. You will never do that again. And it's a lesson that I want to prevent all of you other people that color your hair.
Yeah.
Do not do it the day before you go anywhere. Because I literally did have cockatoo hair when I was there, and it was horrible. But I'm better now.
Well, the color looks beautiful.
It does.
Thank you.
It looks
Yeah.
great.
Thank you.
It
It
looks
was
great.
worth the pain.
Yeah. Yeah, like they say, beauty is painful. It sure was.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. And I guess it's to have it before an event like that is just so
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they always say if you're going to get
Frustrating.
married or do something important, don't do your hair the day
It was
before.
the dumbest idea.
It's like,
that,
don't get a
I've ever
facial,
done.
don't do any of that kind of stuff
Right.
the day
So,
before.
Lesson learned.
Lesson learned. Well, I'm glad your conference went well.
It did.
Yes.
It's
Good.
good. Thank you.
Good.
So tell me how your week was last week. What did you ladies do?
Well, we had some clients that we worked on some projects with, and then we had a very important meeting towards the end of the week with a prospective client.
She's a designer.
Right. And we wanted to kind of align ourselves with her and sit down with her. And she interviewed us. We interviewed her. We wanted to get, Tracy and I, we don't usually work with a lot of vendors. We're very particular, been in business 14 years, and we're just particular in who we work with because what they do and what we do, it's a reflection on each other. So we found a designer we really liked, and we sat down with her and discussed what our vision is and what her current vision is. And I think that there is potentially a really good relationship that we could have together. But we were nervous, I mean, I think that it's not something we do very often. And it was kind of nerve-wracking, and to kind of make sure you say the right things, you look the right way, and made sure we didn't color our hair before we went in, all
Smart.
those things. We were smart. So, I would say that it, ended on a really good note. We're looking forward to a bright future with them, and I think
Hopefully,
hopefully. Yeah.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Well, I will say this. I did have a good surprise at my conference, which was in Dallas, is that I got to see our friend Wendy.
Oh, Wendy! We miss you.
We love our Wendy. And she happens to know a really good person in my industry named Alyssa. So her and us three had lunch. Wendy loves our show. She's our number one fan. We only have one right now. Kidding. But she is spectacular, and she was so cute, and she was so like, how is this happening, and how did you guys get started? And she just loves the idea of us. And we have another viewer or listener, which will be Melissa, because she's awesome too. So Wendy's all Texas. I love everything. The y'all came out the first time she saw me. And she said to tell you ladies hello. So that was a good surprise that came off my
Definitely.
conference.
Wendy has been a friend of ours for 15 years.
Yeah.
She's done all of our Ragnars with us, our runs, and
Yeah.
so we played soccer together. So she's been with us for a long time, and
Yeah.
she just moved to Texas. So we miss you, Wendy.
Yeah.
If you're watching,
Yeah.
That's the great thing. We can be all over the place, and
Yeah.
our hearts are everywhere in Texas and
Totally.
Denver now, and here we're just
Yep.
all over. San Diego. It's just great. It's
Yes.
great to have a group of friends like that.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate.
Yes. Yes. So, all right. Well, let's get started with our questions. We're going to get asked by our producer is going to read out the questions for us, and then we will respond to what our interpretation is, or how we would answer that respectively, each of us.
okay.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you with this honor. So I'm going to start out with the first one. The subject is haunted or hyped. My new apartment is giving off major paranormal vibes. Dear Journey with RTR, I just moved into a new apartment, and it's straight up giving me paranormal vibes. We're talking flickering lights, eerie door creaks, and the whispers. It feels like I've walked into my own personal horror movie, and honestly, I'm starting to freak myself out. My friends think I'm being dramatic, but I'm convinced something or someone else is sharing this space with me. Thanks. Freaked out with a ghostly roommate.
Well, I've kind of had something kind of similar happen when I was moving into a new house in Redondo Beach. When my youngest was, I don't know, maybe 8 months, he had a teddy bear, and it was in his crib, and it had a big bow on it. And he was like, 8 months, 9 months, and put him to bed, woke up in the morning, and the bow from the teddy bear was taken off, and it was intertwined in all of the slats of his crib. Now,
Oh my
He couldn't have
gosh.
done that. It freaked me out. I think what I did was I called a priest in Redondo Beach that came out, and he blessed the house, and nothing ever happened again. But it is weird.
Oh, that would freak me out.
I know.
Totally.
I would probably
was.
burn the house.
It was a rental. I couldn't do that.
Accidental burn.
Yeah.
I had a mouse in my house.
I know.
I had my house tented, which when you buy a house, you fumigate and tent the house because it's vacant and you're going to move in. So you want it fumigated from any pests or rodents or anything like that. So it's just kind of something everybody does. I've lived in my house 24 years, and I tented my house and had to stay in the hotel with my dog and my son and my husband. And we were all roommates for 3 days
Because of a mouse?
Yeah, because of a mouse.
Oh, so you definitely would have burned the
you
house
would have
down.
burned the
Oh
house
yeah,
down.
I would have been like, oh heck no, am I staying there?
Yeah, it was a weird feeling. But nothing ever happened after that. But then actually when we bought our first house in Laguna Niguel, we moved in there, but we knew that there had been a death in the house prior. The realtor has to disclose those
right.
things. And there was actually 2 deaths to find out. And when we moved into the house, everyone was like, all the kids were like, oh, you're moving into the haunted house. And we were like,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
okay. But we did hear weird things. When I
Yeah.
would be downstairs, I would hear things upstairs, but the kids said, oh, they saw this guy in the hallway. And I'm like,
Oh,
okay, you know.
no.
So it was a little bit weird, but nothing ever happened. Nothing
Yeah.
ever crazy or anything happened. So I don't know what I would recommend. I would say call your priest and have them come out and bless the house. That would be my
Yeah.
recommendation.
Or there's like, paranormal groups that
Yeah.
that actually look into that and will, figure out what that is, and they get all the energy from the room and all that. Because I've watched those shows, which I'm like, I mute them. That's my trick to watch scary stuff is I mute it because I'm
Yeah.
like, what scares you is the sound.
Yeah.
You're like Jaws, right?
But-
if Jaws is in the water and he's about to jump out, I'm like, okay, big guy, jump out because it's on mute. But it's that music.
But it's the sounds of the ghosts the sounds that they
Yes.
make that
And the whispering and all that
you hear.
stuff.
You guys
Yeah.
are big
Yeah.
babies.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
I
come
don't know.
on. It's not real. It's fake.
I-
I
but
can
not-
sit through
I
those
think
scary
it's real.
movies
Not
with
the
no
paranormal
problem.
stuff,
No,
though.
I believe
the
it's real.
stuff.
I believe there's ghosts, and I
Yeah,
do
you've
believe.
seen
I
one
do
ghost,
believe
You've
it.
seen them all.
No,
Just
not
embrace it.
Ghostbusters.
There are nice ones, and there are mean ones that try to do mean
Yeah.
things.
Hey,
They're
listen,
demonic
that
listen.
make your life miserable.
Listen, we're trying to help our ghostly roommate person that just wrote in, and I think we just need to back off on the whole meanness.
We're not trying to scare them. We're just saying investigate,
Maybe talk to them.
contact several people,
Talk to them.
and talk to the ghosts.
Yes.
They do say that.
Oh, no.
Talk to them and say, hey,
I've heard that.
Get out.
No.
No,
we're
like,
here.
hey,
We know you're here. Hope we're enjoying the house. I hope whatever, in a nice way to talk to the ghosts. I think
we don't mean you any harm because you know
Right.
what they feel is you've just invaded their turf.
Right.
You're in their house. They're not in your house. They were there first.
Yeah.
Or they
Yeah.
do follow you house to house. So how do you know that first ghost that did the ribbon didn't follow you to the Laguna Niguel house?
I thought about it, but because two people had died in the house, and one guy killed his wife and then committed suicide,
Oh.
and then prior to that, a woman had died in the house. So I was just kind of thinking it was the spirits or
Yeah.
whatever. Nothing ever bad happened.
Right.
I just heard weird things and felt things.
Wow.
All right. Well,
but I
there
didn't
you,
burn the house down.
Yeah.
well, there you have it from Tracy over here. That is firsthand experience.
That's
Called in some people for some help, and you were successful with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. It worked.
All right.
Yeah.
So I don't recommend you burn your house.
Yeah.
Maybe move.
Wise words. You guys ready for my next one?
Yes,
Definitely.
Okay, subject, help. My decluttering life left me with an empty closet and no joy. Dear Journey with RTR, I decided to quote Marie Kondo my life and eliminate things that don't spark joy. Now I have no clothes left and my house feels like a sad, empty shoebox. Is there such a thing as too much decluttering? Thanks, Allison.
I don't know. I always feel like when I declutter something, and I've had a shirt in my closet for 2 years, and I don't wear it, I don't like it, I throw it away or donate it. The next month, I'm like, I wish I had that shirt.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people get a little carried away with decluttering. Marie Kondo, she has if you don't know who she has the spark joy. So hold your item. If you feel like it sparks joy, keep it. If it doesn't, then donate it. I don't know if anybody has time for that. I don't know
Well, I think that
if that works.
there's essential items you need, and not all essential items spark joy.
Right.
I mean, so I don't know. I mean, not knocking her. I'm sure she's a very nice lady.
Yeah.
But as organizers ourselves, really not the method we follow. I think that there's a rhyme or reasons why you have a lot of things in your house. And I do think that, it's okay to say, do I enjoy this? But sometimes you can just be a little too overboard with that. And some people, everybody's interpretation of, decluttering is different.
Yeah.
And, obviously that's her interpretation of
And
it.
everybody has reasons for wanting to
Right.
hold on to things. Everybody has their reasons.
I think that it's okay to just say, "Hey, let's spark the smile for me, not just I had this tremendous amount of joy while I'm holding it." I also believe, let's face it, if we did that with all of our clients, with everything they showed us,
yeah.
does this spark joy? I mean, we'd probably still be at our first client's house
Yeah.
because it's very overwhelming when you're going through memories with clients or even just their garage, that they're just things and they're not big memories. And I think that doing that is very tedious and time consuming, and it's a lot. So I think that I would say try to bring some more things back into the house and realize that it doesn't have to be that high standard of, does this spark joy? Can I just not live without it? It's okay to be like on a lower level with that and try to bring some things back in.
Because there's a difference in being minimalistic and completely wiping your whole closet out. That's
a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I think the answer is yes. The answer is you can take away too many things until the point where you have nothing. And, you know, a lot of people have a hard time styling their home or finding their style. And I always, like, even for myself, my styles change so much over time.
Yeah.
And I look at a lot of inspirational things. I grew up looking at Architectural Digest and Veranda Magazine and Town and Country for inspiration. And I have my interior design certificate from the Institute of Design in Newport Beach. But a lot of it's really what you like and what you like to see and what you like to surround yourself with. And I just think that the more of stuff you don't need does kind of create a mess or a mental block where you're like, you know, you walk into some areas and you're like, the desk is full of like mail that's like just informational
Piled
mail.
up
And it's like,
yeah.
you don't need it that way. So how can you organize it where it looks clean and your spaces are clean and organized? And you guys are excellent at that. But I just think you have to find your own style, whatever inspires you, whether it's, you know, Pinterest was the big thing back in the day where everyone found Pinterest boards and all the things that they liked and inspirational things. But I do think that it can be too much if you just overdo it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all seen hoarders and it's like, it's too much.
Well, that's to the extreme.
That's extreme, But having less clutter definitely
It makes you feel better.
makes you feel better.
Yeah,
Totally.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I can understand that, but I also feel like I could understand living in a shoebox with blank walls and nothing around me, just getting rid of too much. I just think, unfortunately, sometimes when people really don't understand the full concept of it, they take a portion of organizing and they kind of throw themselves into it and think that they're doing what they should do. And that's why there are professional organizers.
Right.
You know, it is a profession. We study it. We read books. You know, we listen to audiobooks on tape. I mean, we really immerse ourselves into the industry. We don't just, you know, one day say, I feel like organizing and I'm going to make a hobby out of it, and I can make money out of it too. I can speak for Tracy and myself. We did not do that. So you really do need to hire a professional,
right,
for something like that.
Yeah.
Good question.
Very
Thank
well
you.
said. Okay, so this one a little bit weird. Okay, so I'm gonna change direction.
Weirder than the ghosts in the
I
house.
think so. Okay, subject: my boss's puppet is hijacking our meetings. Hey, Journey with RTR. I've got a bizarre workplace situation and I'm unsure how to handle it. Picture this. My new boss has started bringing a puppet to our meetings to, quote, lighten the mood. Sounds funny, right? Well,
No.
It's making everything crazy awkward instead. The puppet asks us questions and literally no one knows how to react. To make things worse, we're all new hires, so we're not yet comfortable with each other to even talk about how weird it is. How do I navigate this puppet parade without making my boss feel bad or look like a guy with no sense of humor? Thanks, awkward and puppeted newbie.
Well, first of all, so what I really want to know is, do you see the boss's mouth move when he's making the puppet talk? Because there are some phenomenal people out there, like America's Got Talent. I don't know what her
Like
name
the
was.
ventriloquist?
She was a little girl, and she
Yeah.
had this puppet, and she could speak, but she would never move her mouth, and
Right.
it was. She would obviously project that it was coming from the puppet. It was amazing. So I would just be curious on that because that's pretty amazing. Maybe I would record that and put it up on TikTok or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But in an office meeting,
I'm joking. I wouldn't do that.
I don't know.
Oh, that's a rough one.
That's bizarre. And I don't know why they're doing that. I honestly would contact my human resources.
Well,
and
I think
say-
the problem is she doesn't want to, or he or she, I'm sorry, I forgot the name.
As a he.
He doesn't want to rock the boat.
And doesn't want to seem like he doesn't have a sense of humor.
Right.
Well, okay. do you honestly think that the boss is doing this for a reason?
And maybe there's no human resources. Maybe it's a small company. Didn't say
if
that.
there is a human resources, I would go to them and say, this makes me very uncomfortable. I don't know why I'm talking to a cartoon. I don't really want to talk to the cartoon. It's bizarre. I mean, that to me is just like, I've never heard of that. I don't know why you would do that.
And then nobody else, if they're all new,
Yeah.
like they don't, because if it was the three of us, we'd be like, this guy's nuts or whatever. We would say like, is this normal? But when you're with a new group, it sounds like he's
Right.
with a new group.
Yeah, like he's
None
new
of them
and
know
all the
it.
other employees are new.
Right.
so
None
they're
of them
like-
know what to say.
Yeah. And if it's a sole employer and that's what they're doing, rethink your job.
Yeah.
And start applying for a new one.
And why are you all newbies?
And
True.
if it makes you that uncomfortable, you need to get out of that job.
Well, maybe that's why they're all new, because he's been talking with a puppet.
That's
and
right.
it freaks everybody out, and so
Yeah.
they don't stay.
Right. So he's got huge turnover, which is
Yeah.
a really red flag. And if he didn't have that puppet in your interview and now it's popping out, you got to get out. Because to me, I don't know why you're still there.
Or maybe just go talk to your boss one-on-one with your boss and say, hey,
Your
this makes
puppet's
me
working
I would
me
uncomfortable.
out.
I would start looking
Yeah.
and then I would talk to the boss, because what if the boss is like, you got a problem with my puppet? And now you're out. Now you're out of a job. You need a job. So don't rock the boat
his-
until you have
his
something else.
Puppet might really mean something to him.
Yeah.
I mean,
obviously.
clearly he takes him to the meetings. the
Have a
weekly
one-on-one
meetings.
with your boss.
He's employed his puppet.
He has.
The puppet's now an employee and you
Yeah.
need to talk to him? No.
Pretty
Okay.
scary if you ask me. Sorry.
Okay.
Next question.
All right, Liz. No, so this one is really up your alley, I think. Subject: how do I let go of my past? And how do I stop it from shaping my future? Hi, ladies. I've been holding on to some mistakes I made years ago, and they still affect how I see myself and my decisions today. I know I need to move on, but I don't know where to start. How can I let go of my past and stop letting it define my future? Angela.
That's a good question, Angela.
Well, I think it's important to try to not focus on your past, because it is just that. It's your past.
Right.
And you really need to focus on the future and focus on the good that your future, the possibilities are to get there. And I know that's hard. I mean, there's things in my past that I would have to say I was hung up on for many years. But I had to realize that it didn't define who I am now. It actually made me a stronger person.
Yeah.
But I think it's hard initially, probably to think that way. Because obviously you're dealing with something that's very difficult, and it's hard to let that go.
Yeah. I look at it and think everything, there's life lessons that we all learn. We all make mistakes. Neither one of us is perfect. Either one of us is perfect. But I also think that most people don't realize that certain things that happen to you were supposed to be lessons. Mistakes that you made that you'll never make again. But they weren't supposed to be a prison sentence. They weren't supposed to confine you, that you can't move past that. Nothing defines you, and everything continues to propel you as you move forward into different goals and what you can do. And you've already had the mistake. You've already, experienced the mistake. It's what, like they say, when you're driving and you look in the rearview mirror, oftentimes you don't look back then they say don't look back because there's nothing there for you. Right. You're moving away from it. And that's how I look at past mistakes, is it's my past. There's nothing there for me, just like other people's opinions. They're not there for you. You have to really surround yourself with confident people that push you forward, and that you don't ever have to focus on that situation again.
Absolutely. And I think the one thing for me, when I realized going through things and trying to move forward, is I really had the power to shape my future instead of staying stuck in what it wasn't doing for me. And I felt that sometimes taking that outlook on it, because I felt so out of control looking at my past in the difficult situations, feeling that I had that power to move forward and to direct that made me, I don't know, it was empowering, made me feel good.
I saw a cool analogy on Instagram recently where a woman was talking about how you manage your life. And she said that you should manage your life as though you were a bouncer in a nightclub. And she said that you're going to let certain people in, and then you're going to make sure that certain people have to leave because they're either causing trouble or they're not what should be in that crowd, if that was a bar or a club or whatever, that you have to exit certain people quickly. You know, so, and I thought, what a great analogy about how you
What a
invite people
smart
into your life.
lady.
Yeah, yeah.
Super smart.
Yeah, it was
I
awesome.
love that analogy.
Me too.
Yeah.
All right, Chuck.
Okay, I got another work-related one. Subject, help, my boss is following me on Instagram. Hi, RTR team. I'm a new watcher of your podcast. Thank you. And I've got a bit of dilemma I'm hoping you can help with. Recently, I discovered that my boss is following me on my Instagram account, where I post about all my quirky hobbies and life moments. It's a casual account, but now I'm second guessing everything I post. Should I change what I share, create a separate account, or just let them see the real me? I'd love your advice, Jessica.
Ooh, that's a tough one. We used to work in the wealth management industry, and we were required by the SEC to have our boss be able to access our social media. So I think, yeah, you do have to. If you're in a professional job, I would think you have to probably act like you would at work.
Well, it depends, because if they don't have a policy that says you have to show them your private social media, that's different.
Right.
But I know that's really uncomfortable because you can't be silly, or you were out clubbing and had, you know, martinis or whatever you were doing that's recreational that your boss might say is unacceptable. That obviously could compromise your job. You know,
So I guess it does depend on what type of a job you have.
Yeah.
Really.
You know what I just thought of? Have you guys heard of the, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, the Brokey challenge? It's on TikTok right now. And it's these nurses that are, and I'm not quite sure what the point is of it, but they're getting like the syringes that are filled with like saline solution, and they're like squirting them and dancing and doing all these things, and they're getting fired like left and right. So people were putting them on TikTok because they're just, I guess it's a challenge. I'm not sure why they call it that, but it's a big thing. So it kind of falls along the same line. Like, you really have to be careful what you put out there. I mean, because, and some of them are just like, you can see their badges with their name on it and the hospital they work at. I mean, at least come on, like, don't show that. But, you know, there's a lot of hate going towards that right now because, one, I mean, the supplies are expensive.
Right.
You know how much it cost us as the patient going in there, and they're using them as a joke. And another way, it's just...
Well, you're also getting paid.
Well, they say they're doing it on their breaks.
Right.
So a lot of them have been suspended. Some of them have been fired. There are some hospitals that are very strict on their protocol, like with HR, that there's absolutely no photography allowed in the hospitals, be it
privacy,
regardless of if you're on a break or not. I mean, you never know when a patient could be walking by and you didn't catch it and you put it up there, and now they're covering themselves as the hospital. But I just thought that it was kind of crazy that I don't know if I would personally do any of those challenges, but there's just such a big thing going on right now with it.
I think too, though, that most people, you should keep, unless don't care, right? If you don't care if your boss sees your page, then your pages should be open. But I think for the most part, your pages should be private. Your Facebook page should be private. Any account you're on, I think you should be private because it's your information. And a lot of people that I connect with, like on Facebook, they're my friends. I don't really have anyone that I connect with that I don't know really well. And I do get a lot of requests from people that they might know one person I know, but I've never met them. So I'm not really going to let you into my life and see my kids or see my family or whatever, just because it's an intimate thing to have those pages. You know, Chore Chicks is an open page because you want people to know what you do. So anybody could follow it. But for privacy, I think that you should keep what you do private. And if you have a private page and your boss follows it and they say, "Hey, I've been trying to follow you and I I don't know if you saw that I got a request. I would just say, you know what, I really keep it private. It's only, some friends that I know from college and stuff. I'm not doing anything illegal, but, I just prefer to keep it private for that reason. I think that's fair. And I think that's what I would do. In this case, the boss is already following you. So, the mention was that you could create an additional page and maybe you do that. And, it just depends because I don't think everybody stays in jobs very long. The tradition is like 3 to 5 years. People are in their positions. And maybe you're not in that job that long. I mean, once they're in, they're in. How do you get them out? You can't tell the boss, please unfollow me. But you should be doing things that aren't, unprofessional or that compromise you. You should be, posting whatever. You ate at a restaurant or you went to a ball game or whatever. Once they're in, I think you're kind of out of luck unless you feel confident enough to say, like, I just would rather you didn't follow my page, but then I would make it private.
Yeah, you should have it private.
Well, I think there are certain filters, isn't there? Like that you can put on certain people that you don't want. I mean, maybe I don't know, that's an
Facebook
option.
you can for sure.
On Instagram, there's not.
I don't know.
I mean, you think there would be, but I don't really know either. I don't have that, but maybe they could be on a separate list.
Yeah, if you can do that. I mean,
then that's a lot of time,
right.
to do your real self and your fake self.
Exactly.
Why bother? Why bother?
Yeah.
So
agreed.
Yeah, interesting.
So hopefully that answer was helpful.
All right.
We came up with.
All right. Well, I think we're going to finish with this last one here. I think this will resonate with the three of you. Subject, ghosted by my close friend. Hi, Renee, Tracy, and Raquel. I've been ghosted by one of my closest friends, and I have no idea why. We used to talk all the time, and suddenly they just stopped responding. It's been months, and I don't know if I should reach out or just let it go. I value friendship, but I also don't want it to push myself. What do you think I should do, Rachel?
Reach out. Definitely reach out. I think that we've talked about this before on a podcast, I think, but we didn't speak for a couple of years and none of us reached out.
Or knew why.
And I think that's one of the biggest regrets is not reaching out because it only takes a phone call or a text just to say, hey, I've been thinking about you. Is something wrong? Can we get together and talk? And I think reach out. Sometimes if you get rejected, that's hard. But
at least you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. At least you know.
I agree. And I think for us, ours was on the heels of COVID was happening. Mm-hmm. So everybody was apart. And we did a couple COVID
Zoom calls.
Like little calls and stuff. And then, work changes and life changes and all those other things. And then I think we just kind of fell apart. Mm-hmm. But I think that, like they say, things fall apart for a reason, but then they come back together as well. And I 100% agree with you that you should at least find out. So, because oftentimes you think the person's mad. Mm-hmm. And then when we did reconnect and we were like, well, why did we all split up? None of us had an answer. Right. And we're like, well, you didn't do anything to me. I know, but you didn't do anything to me. So it was just kind of a miscommunication. And you worry that there's a response you're not going to want to hear, or that might be challenging. Mm-hmm. And then when it's not, you're like, I wasted all that time.
Yeah, it was a waste of time when we just lost a couple of years of
friendship we could have stuck together.
Mm-hmm.
And we always stick together. Like even how this all came, very organically. It didn't just happen. And I think that if that friendship is important to you, you should find out why it fell apart.
And reach out. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about, too, how there are friends that are just friends for a season. Like when you have your kids are playing sports and you're with those parents. And but when you have a good friendship for years and years, reach out. That's
I agree.
Reach out.
While you guys were talking, I was listening thoroughly. And I pulled this up on my Instagram. I was going to send it to the two of you because it made me think about you. It's 8 facts about good friends. 1, if the friendship lasts longer than 7 years, it will last a lifetime.
We're way beyond 7 years.
2, never worry about losing a friend because a real friend can never be lost.
True.
3, friendship is not about who you spend the most time with. It's about who you have the best time with. 4, a strong friendship doesn't need daily conversation and doesn't always need togetherness. 5, Best friends make your problems their problems, just so you don't have to go through them alone. 6, a true friend is someone who sees the pain in your eyes while everyone else believes the smile on your face. 7, only a true friend will tell you to face what others are saying behind your back. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Only true friends will tell you to your face what others are saying behind your back. And 8, sometimes being with your friend is all the therapy you need. It made me think of the two of you because you guys check all those boxes. You're every single one of those, and I love that.
So do you.
Well, thank you.
For us. Yeah.
I just love that. I just love that, just those whoever put that together, they're just very smart.
Yeah.
I love it when people do that, and I love to forward that to you guys.
Yeah, I
so
love that.
I was just glad I could pull it up.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
also love the feeling that I have with you guys that I could say something to you, even though I know it's going to hurt your feelings, or if we're talking about advice or something, that I can always say something and know that you're going to know it's coming from a place of love and friendship, and
Right.
that I'm never worried about what you guys are going to say.
Yeah, and I don't ever think that you come to us knowing you'll hurt our feelings. I think that you come to us with maybe it's a constructive criticism that you think we would take it as a hurt, but then when you tell us what you want to tell us, we're like, we get where you're coming from.
Right.
And that's the greatness of that friendship, where I never feel like you're ever coming at us with like a criticalness or a meanness. It's always constructive. It's always
It's
like
out of love.
Yes. Yeah.
Out of love.
But I think those things come because there's growth. The three of us are continuously wanting to grow. Like
Right.
the podcast. I mean, it's one of the things we've done to help push us grow, to push us, thank you, to grow.
Yeah.
And I feel like those are the things you need to be doing in your life because it's so fundamentally important to who you are. You're not going to be who you were 5 years ago, hopefully, that you want to constantly evolve. And I think that because, and it's not just you that says it, it's Raquel will say it to me and I'll say it to her. The constructive criticism is so important because, and the reason you can embrace that is because of growth.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And we have friends from all of our lives, where you grew up and where I grew up. And I have wonderful best friends from Chicago that will text me and say, you were on my mind and I haven't heard from you in a while. Or we, just want to make sure, I'm thinking about you. I love my girlfriends in Chicago. They're like my sisters as well, an extension of myself. And, like some of our friends that were here and were part of our running club and they moved away. Just because they moved away doesn't mean that they're not, still a part of us. And even in my industry, the friends that I've met will always remain wonderful, incredible friends that I will keep with me for the rest of my life, and that they know that I will always help them or give them the best advice like I would give my own children or my great friends like you guys as well. My intention is always never about myself. It's always about, I feel honored that you asked me for my opinion. So I'm going to give you the absolute best opinion I can, because that's how much I care. And that's how I feel like what we're doing in this podcast is we care that much that we're, taking the time to make these episodes that are about other people and not so much about ourselves.
Right.
So
Some great questions. Thank you so much
yeah,
for
awesome question.
writing in and thank you so much for being listeners and fans. And
Yes.
I mean, we love that. I mean, who would have thought we would have a fan? But
Well, we have people from the Netherlands watching us. Whoever you are, you're
Right.
amazing that you
Really
found
amazing.
us somehow.
Russia.
From Russia. Like, oh
Love
my
that.
gosh,
Right.
that's incredible.
I know.
I don't
Yeah.
even know. Does it get converted into their language that they listen, or that I don't
no
even know
idea
how
how
they're
that
listening?
works.
But
No,
we
I
are
don't.
so honored that you're listening to
Yeah.
us. I've never even been to any of those countries in my life, so I'm like, wow, that's a big deal. And we hope to get other countries and other cities
Yeah.
across the country that listen to us. And thank you for inviting us into your home or your car or wherever you're listening to us from, because that means a lot to us in what we're doing.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, I have another thing that I would like to talk to you two about.
Like we're in trouble.
I just really don't understand why you
We're in
guys are
trouble,
giving me
Raquel.
that attitude, because it's going to be phenomenal.
That's like saying, hey, can you come into my office
Right.
after hours? You're like, oh.
Hey, and why do you have to think that the boss is going to say something negative? The boss could be like,
Why
"You're
couldn't
phenomenal."
you tell me in the morning or at lunch or when I came back from my break?
Right.
Because what's so rich about this podcast is it's spontaneous.
Okay.
I mean,
right.
it's nothing.
Bring it
It's
on,
not
Renee.
planned.
Yeah,
Bring
kind
it
of like
on.
that candy. That
Yeah,
was
like
very
the candy.
and that was a treat for you, but that was spontaneous.
That
Ate
was
it all in one
spontaneous. I
day.
mean, that was really Tracy reacting to how excited she was over
She
Swedish
was.
candy.
I
She
love-
was.
I love
Kevin loved
candy.
it. He loved it too.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. He was like, "This is awesome."
Has he
was
ever
great.
seen any of the Swedish candy bowls or anything that they make? You
He
ever seen
said,
the
yeah,
candy
he said he
salads?
did see it, but he was like, "I've never." And he's like, "Where did Renee get this?" And Renee, of course, I got my people. Like, yes,
I've been trying to get it for like 5 months. I got my people. Okay.
Well, so I wanted to do a case study, a challenge with the two of you. Now, I have no idea what Tracy and Raquel are going to say. They could just look at me like I'm nuts and say, "Heck no," and walk right out of the room. Possible.
It's possible.
But
I'm ready
I'm
to
gonna-
walk out right now.
Me too.
I'm going to take that chance and
Okay.
hope that they want to grow with me and do this with me because
Okay.
I think you need people to do things with you. I think it's hard sometimes, although I'm not advocating that you can't do things alone because you can. And certainly that's part of growth. But I think it's fun to do things with other people. And I also would love this podcast to maybe seem like a friend to someone that doesn't have anybody, they have us because we're on this journey of life together.
Right.
So I think we all know that you should be working out at least 20 minutes a day.
Yes.
And I mean, I know I can, Raquel, I never even know where you're at because you travel so much. And I can speak for Tracy and I, we are extremely busy and it's really hard to dedicate the time to work out. So the challenge, you guys are looking.
start running again. Oh no!
I want you guys to run up a hill with a with a parachute on your back.
Just running my mouth. Okay, I'm trying to color my hair. I'm messing it up. I'm trying to do all the right things. I'm doing them wrong, but we're trying.
Okay.
So one of the things I'm passionate about is building people and helping and putting us in a direction that I think is going to uplift us. So
Okay.
I bought us something.
What?
It fits in a bag, so don't be scared.
As long as it's not a mouse, you're good.
It won't be a mouse. Could be a ghost. Won't be a mouse.
Okay.
Might be a puppet though. I could pull out a puppet.
It was her that wrote in.
It was me. It was me.
Okay.
I think Tracy probably has heard about this. I'm not so sure about Raquel. Have you guys ever heard of P-Volve?
No.
Jennifer Aniston
Yes.
Yes.
has a particular exercise she does. Now, I'm not saying we're going to look like Jennifer Aniston.
I was gonna say.
All right.
You know, we are going to look like us. And I think that's also the misconception with a lot of exercise programs. You know, they put, I don't know who they use as their spokesperson and the type of people they have on their infomercial showing you the exercises, but we are us.
Right.
And the workout is going to be tailored to us and the outcome is going to be tailored to us. We're not going to have Jennifer Aniston body, which I wouldn't mind that, but
Yeah.
so there are these
I like her hair.
I know.
these
It's
bands
amazing looking.
and they're called P bands.
P bands.
I should have opened one. Let's see. Ahead of time.
That's why it's spontaneous.
It's spontaneous. See?
Yeah.
This is spontaneous. I didn't plan it. Didn't even think about to open it. So there's these bands. Sorry if I'm being too loud for the listeners in the car. You're probably like
Yeah.
turning
She's
me down.
unraveling these.
P bands.
They're like
P-bands.
Velcro bands.
They're Velcro bands.
Yeah.
Thank you, Raquel, for being our
Yeah. I'll be the
what do you
the
call
eyes
that?
for the listeners.
Yes.
It almost looks like a heart monitor.
So
Like
they
a
go on your
compression.
hands,
Okay.
and this is my left. This is my right.
Okay. So the
so they-
Velcro wraps around. You put it in your fingers, and
Yeah.
it wraps around your wrist.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then you put it around your wrist like
Oh,
that.
wow.
And then you get this other one, and you put it around the left hand.
Okay.
And maybe I should have done this before we met. Gosh.
Oh, that's
So
okay.
probably doing it wrong.
Well, they're labeled left and right.
Yes, they are.
And you put your hand in. Okay.
But it's still confusing.
Interesting.
Anyways, I'm just going to
Okay.
put them on and
Gotcha.
kind of demonstrate that what I know.
Have you tried it before?
No, I was waiting for today to do it with you guys.
Oh, nice.
We're not going to do the exercise on
Right.
air,
Good
but-
thing.
Yeah.
So you guys got out of that. So
Okay.
I think I have them on backwards, but that's okay.
Okay.
So they have a program you can sign up for. There's a lot of things with this program. Really, what I love, it's all about using resistance. The resistant bands, and instead of using the full on weights or doing the P90X, is that what it's called? And
Right.
then what is those really rough exercises that you jump around and you just like tear up your body?
Oh, yeah.
Let's face it, we're all getting older, and that's rough. So you put these on, and I'm going to send you guys a YouTube video.
Okay.
It's free.
Yeah.
They do have a program you can sign up with them, and they have all the classes online that they show on a weekly basis. But she shows you how to, and this is really rough. Like this
Like
is hard to
tight,
do.
right?
This is tight.
So
yeah.
is it an upper arm workout?
This is all upper arms. We're only going to do arms. We're not going to
Okay.
do full body.
Okay.
You can do your full body. There are other things that you, it's like this ball that has a resistant, you wrap around your legs. So there's a whole bunch of other things you do. And there's a mat, and it has the mat kind of looks like a tic-tac-toe thing, and you put your feet in certain places. So it does get pretty involved. Well, we're
Right.
going to start off simple. I believe that sometimes we always bite off more than we can handle. So we should just take a little bit at a time. So I'm going to send you guys a video, and I think it's less than 30 minutes.
Right.
And you just do what she does, and let's see what happens.
Okay.
What I'd like us to do is go on a journey with each other. I would like to invite our listeners to do that too. I would like to do it for 30 days. I'm being very demanding here.
30 days.
I want to do it for 30 days. I think because Raquel and Tracy didn't know I was going to spring this on them, if they decide to join me, if they don't, I'll be very sad and doing it alone, but I can do it. Maybe we can decide on like a specific date, because if
Like a
our
start
listeners
date.
want to do it, they might need time to get it. It doesn't take long. You can get it off Amazon. You can order directly from them.
Okay.
You can go on Marketplace. They have them on Marketplace sometimes. People maybe
Facebook
one lady
Marketplace.
was on it because she was pregnant and she didn't think she could do the exercise. I'm not sure
Well,
why.
it'd be good for Raquel because you travel a
Yeah,
lot.
That's what
you
I was
can
thinking
do it in
about.
the hotel.
Yeah.
That's an excellent point. That's exactly what I was thinking about, because you can't take a weight machine with you. So
Right.
you can put this in your carry-on or your
Yeah.
luggage, and we can do it together. And I really think that let's try it. You
Yeah.
know, let's embark on this together if you guys would
That's
like
cool.
to do it. And I think that it's,
Do we want to say October 1st?
well, I think that we just need to kind of figure that out, because if we
Okay.
would like our listeners to do it, I don't know, what is today?
The 28th. Yeah.
So I don't know if that gives them a little bit of time. Well, we'll talk about it. You know, maybe we'll either put out a post or we'll put it in our next episode. Our next
well,
episode
we
will
could
come
still
next
do it
week.
October 1st, and then they could pick their own dropped,
Very true.
date and
Very
figure it
true.
out. Because if we do it in November, it's going to be the holidays, then December's the
true.
holidays. So October 1st gives us enough time
But
to see.
that is my excuse all the time why I stop exercising.
Yeah.
It's a birthday party. There's a holiday.
Oh,
it's
I know.
Christmas.
Yeah.
It's like I
That's
always
hard.
come
Yep.
up with a reason why I give it up.
You reason out of it. It's
I
like,
do.
I know. I've done it too a million times.
a million at least.
I just think, when you, I heard this the other day on an Instagram reel, and I just so resonated with me. When you have to be at work at 9 a.m., you're there, right? Because your boss says so.
Yeah.
When you have to do a project, you're there because a project is due.
Yeah.
So why can't we give ourselves that same?
It's about
time.
making a commitment to yourself.
Yeah. Why
Right.
can't we commit that to
Really.
ourselves?
Yeah.
Why do we get in our own way? Why do we stop ourselves from going forward? And if we can commit to other people, that's all you do, Raquel.
Right.
And I'm not singling you out, but that's
No,
all
but she
you
commits,
do.
but she doesn't put it on her calendar.
Yeah. True. Actually, I have been better. I have been putting it on my calendar.
Okay, good.
My point is instead of living for other people, let's live for ourselves.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm
That's
down.
what I think we
Well,
need to do.
thank you for doing that.
Hey, you're
That's
welcome.
wonderful. You're awesome.
I mean, I'm already ahead of you guys.
Can I see
Oh,
a box
yes.
so I can show
I'll give you.
what it looks like?
So it's a little black box. It's very
Helen.
tiny.
It's a
not like
P-band.
it's huge, right?
It's a P band.
You want to hand that to Raquel?
And so, does Jennifer Aniston endorse it?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
So,
okay.
so a little backstory on her. Back in
Awesome.
I don't know,
Cool.
22 or 21, she had a really bad back injury. And she saw her friend do this. And her friend, interestingly enough, got a felt that there was just this energy she had about her, and her mood just changed just because it's just simple, exercises that she was doing.
Right, strengthening.
And it's really good also because a lot of people have limitations and can't do certain things.
Sure.
So it was just, she just fell in love with it. And I mean, now I'm sure that's not the only thing she does, but she's fallen in love with it, and she's done it ever since after she saw her friend do it.
Wow.
Well, thank you.
That's
You're very welcome.
You're
I'm,
awesome.
I'm down to start
I know,
October
me
1st
too.
if you guys want to start October 1st.
Yep, let's do it.
Write
So
it down.
include the link.
We will include the link. I'm
great.
officially inviting my 2 co-hosts to join me on this 30-day challenge to better us.
Well, we're committed, and
We're
we
committed.
will
We will-
participate.
we will do this
That's
journey with you.
awesome. Yes, thank
All
you.
right. Well,
Shouldn't we show
Yeah.
our befores and afters?
No. But anyway. Thank you for joining us. We're so happy you're here, and continue to have us in your lives, and continue to us to meet you one day, because we'll be out there one day meeting and greeting. So continue to participate and check in with us on or subscribe to our YouTube page, Journey with RTR, our Instagram, our Facebook, our LinkedIn, our X, our TikTok, our Spotify and Amazon and iHeartRadio. I mean, we're everywhere.
And if you want to
because-
email, you can reach us at contact at
Oh,
journey
yeah.
at RTR.
Yep.
Yes,
If you have
that's
any
where a lot of questions came in that we got, which we love everyone's participation. So thank you for that. But,
Yes.
the more people that we can meet and hear from, the more we can offer our input and help. I recently was in Laguna Beach and ran into a wonderful lady who was from Pasadena, who was in the Tuvalu store, which is one of my favorite stores, our favorite stores. And she was an interior designer, and she said she comes down and drives down for inspiration, and she just loves to be by the beach, and she was wonderful. So I hope that she finds this podcast and hears that I met her. I think her name was Christine, but I apologize if I forgot or your name escapes me. But I loved meeting your little dog, Riley, and hearing that story. But that's what we do. We get out there, we try to meet people, we try to gain more viewers, and we hope to get more. So until next time, thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Bye.
No one else can see us. So let us dance this night away.